Hello dear students, this is Vishal sir from Ikra High School. Today we are going to study chapter 5 Periodic Classification of Elements from Standard 10th NCERT syllabus. Before we start the lesson, let's memorize what we had learned earlier. So you may know the difference between the elements, compounds and mixtures. Today we are going to talk about the different elements as compounds and mixtures are formed from the elements itself. We also know that elements are the purest form of any known substance. They are composed of only the same type of atoms. Moreover, elements are the basic forms of every material that we find around, and hence, in order to study every substance around us, we need to begin with studying the various elements. But to study the reactivity and physical property of each of these elements is difficult. Well, all this would have been valid only if the element would be few in numbers. If you look around in the first paragraph, it states that there are at present 118 elements known to us, out of which 94 are naturally occurring elements. So, to study all the features of each and every element is a quite difficult task. Looking at the number of elements that exist, it won't be convenient to pick every element individually and study all the properties. So to study so many elements, we need to organize them appropriately, and the organization begins with its arrangement. Yes, that means arranging the various elements is the first step towards understanding their properties. And arrangement is possible only if we categorize them correctly. So today we are going to study about how we can organize the elements and when did the process of organizing all the elements started. Let's read the section Making Order Out of Chaos. We have been learning how various things or living beings can be classified on the basis of their properties. Even in other situations, we come across instances of organization based on some properties. For example, in a shop, soaps are kept together at one place while biscuits are kept together elsewhere. Even among soaps, bathing soaps are stacked separately from washing soaps. Similarly, scientists made several attempts to classify elements according to their properties and obtain an orderly arrangement out of chaos. The earliest attempt to classify the element resulted in grouping the then known elements as metals and non-metals. So this was the first step to classify the known elements, and later further classification was tried out as our knowledge of elements and their properties increased. So dear children, this paragraph explains the classification of element is categorizing the various elements into groups based on similarities and differences in their properties. The classification system helps us in grouping the various elements into categories which we refer to as periods. Hence, the system is also referred to as periodic classification of elements. Let's study about Dauberniers triads. Daubernier was a German chemist who, in 1817, tried to arrange the known elements with similar properties into some groups. He arranged 3 elements in a single group and thus he called them as triads. These triads were written in order of increasing atomic masses. Yes, that time atomic number was unknown. So atomic masses was considered to group the different elements. The atomic mass of the middle element was roughly the average of the atomic mass of the other 2 elements. So before we study the example, let's understand what Daubernier wanted to say about its grouping. He classified the elements known at that time in a particular manner. He placed them into groups having 3 elements each. These 3 elements were not arranged randomly. He made a unique way of placing these elements. Daubernier arranged the set of 3 elements in such a way that the average of atomic mass of the first and the third element in the set gave him the atomic mass of the middle element. In simple words, the atomic mass of the second element will be approximately equal to the average of atomic mass of the first and the third element. Now let us take the example so we can understand it better. He took one example of lithium, sodium and potassium, where you can see the atomic mass of lithium is 6.9 and potassium is 39. If you calculate the average of lithium and potassium, you will come to know that the average is near about the atomic mass of sodium. Yes, we get 23 and 23 is the atomic mass of sodium. This is exactly what Daubigny had in mind. But there were some limitations in Daubigny's triads. Not all the elements followed this principle. If you can see group A, B and C, only these three groups were considered as a triad. The other elements known at that time could not fit into these triads. Also, with the discovery of new elements, the system of grouping elements didn't really work. So after grouping the elements in a series of 3, there came a system in which the element grouped in a series of 8. This system of putting the elements in a group of 8 was found by an English scientist named John Newland. The attempt of Daubigny encouraged other chemists to correlate the properties of elements with their atomic masses. In 1866, John Newland, an English scientist, arranged the then known elements in the order of increasing atomic mass. He started with the element having the lowest atomic mass and ended at thorium, which was the 56th element. He found that every eighth element had a property similar to that of the first. He compared this to the octave found in music. Therefore, he called it laws of octave. It is known as Newland's laws of octave. In Newland's octave, the properties of lithium and sodium were found to be same. Sodium is the eighth element after lithium. Similarly, beryllium and magnesium resemble each other. So dear students, after the failure of Daubigny, John Newland found a new way of arranging all the elements. He simply arranged the elements in an increasing order of the atomic mass. But at the end, he realized that this could be grouped such that every eighth element resembles the first element itself. The arrangement also stuck analogy in his mind. Well, you can say the analogy that he got was of octave, as the notes in the music are total 8 and it keeps on repeating. In the same manner, he tried to resemble new arrangement of elements. He found that every eighth element in the series resembles the first in various ways. This is how Newland arranged the elements in the table. So you can see here, if we consider lithium, the element after it would be sodium, and both of them share similar properties. Also, with beryllium, you will find magnesium, and they both do resemble each other. So this was called the law of octave. So after every 7 series, the 8th element would fit under to the first one, which would resemble the same properties like the first one. So this was considered a quite simple way of arranging the known elements at that time. But these two had some limitations. It was only valid till calcium, and after calcium every element did not have properties similar to that of the first. So by that time there were only 56 elements known, and Newland also said that these are the only elements will be present in our universe. No other elements will be found afterwards. Here you can see the limitations of Newland. It was found that the law of octave was applicable only up to calcium. After calcium, every 8th element did not possess properties similar to that of the first. Also, it was assumed by Newland that only 56 elements existed in nature and no more element would be discovered in the future. But later on, several new elements were discovered whose property did not fit into the law of octaves. So in order to fit the element into this table, Newland adjusted 2 elements in the same slot, but also put some unlike elements under the same node. Cobalt and nickel are in the same slot, and these are placed in the same column as fluorine, chlorine and bromine, which have very different property than these elements. Iron, which resembles cobalt and nickel in properties, had been placed far away from these elements. Also, with the discovery of the noble gases, the law of octave became irrelevant. Thus, it is said that the Newland's law of octave worked well with lighter elements only. Now, there again emerged a need for a new periodic table, and this time Mendeleev periodic table came into existence. He was a famous Russian chemist, and he gave a systematic approach to classify elements. The main credit for classifying elements go to Dmitry Ivanovich Mendeleev, a Russian chemist. He was the most important contributor to the early development of periodic table of elements, wherein the elements were arranged on the basis of their fundamental property, the atomic mass, and also the similarity of chemical properties. When Mendeleev started his work, 63 elements were known. He examined the relationship between the atomic mass of the element and their physical and chemical properties. Among chemical properties, Mendeleev concentrated on the compounds formed by elements with oxygen and hydrogen. He selected hydrogen and oxygen as they are very reactive and formed compound with most elements. The formulae of the hydride and oxide formed by an element were treated as one of the basic property of an element for its classification. He then took 63 cards and on each card he wrote down the properties of one element. He sorted out the element with similar properties and pinned the card together on the wall. He observed that most of the elements got a place in a periodic table and were arranged in order of their increasing atomic masses. It was also observed that there occurs a periodic recurrence of elements with similar physical and chemical properties. On this basis, Mendeleev formulated a periodic law which states that the properties of element are the periodic function of their atomic masses. Mendeleev periodic table contained vertical columns called groups and horizontal row called periods. So dear children, here you can see the Mendeleev's periodic table. He played a legendary role in the field of chemistry. Let's understand what Mendeleev had to say about his periodic table. When Mendeleev prepared the periodic table, his work of grouping the element and arranging them were almost based on the atomic masses known at that time. There were near about 63 elements known to him. So he thought of arranging the element with respect to the physical as well as the chemical properties. Also, for understanding the chemical property, he need to react the known elements among each other, but he should have a standard way of reaction. So he took two standard elements. The first one was hydrogen and the second one was oxygen. He thought for reacting the elements with hydrogen and oxygen for the two reasons. The first one was they were very reactive, and the second, they were found readily and form compound with most of the element. This helped him understand the chemical property of all the reacting element, and later on, in order to simplify the process, he wrote all the physical and chemical properties of each element on 63 different cards. Now, all he had to do is to arrange these cards, but that wasn't so simple. So he started arranging the cards in the increasing order of the atomic masses. So while he was doing this, he pasted all his cards on the wall. He found two astonishing observations. One was that there were very few empty spaces left in completing the table that he formed. These positions belong to the elements that were not yet discovered. So here you can see he kept some empty spaces, as Mendeleev firmly believed that the missing element existed and were yet to be discovered. He was so confident about the characteristic of this element that he predicted their properties well in advance. Later on, when the elements were discovered, it was found that the properties predicted by Mendeleev were almost perfect match. The second observation that Mendeleev had was the recurrence of the physical and chemical property of this element. When arranged in a systematic manner, he found that the physical and chemical property of elements had a similar properties or in a periodic manner. So he named this arrangement as a periodic law, and he stated that the properties of elements are periodic. That means, children, the elements were arranged in the increasing order. They showed similarities in the physical and chemical properties at regular intervals also. This is how Mendeleev laid the foundation for the modern periodic table. While developing the periodic table, there were a few instances where Mendeleev had to place an element with a slightly greater atomic mass before an element with a slightly lower atomic mass. The sequence was inverted so that elements with similar properties could be grouped together. Further, Mendeleev left some gaps in the periodic table. Instead of looking upon this gap as defect, Mendeleev boldly predicted the existence of some element that not have been discovered at the time. Mendeleev named them by prefixing a Sanskrit numeral, Eka, that means 1, to name the preceding element in the same group. Let's take for example scandium, gallium, germanium, which were discovered later, have properties similar to Eka boron, Eka aluminium and Eka silicon. The properties of eka aluminium predicted by Mendeleev and those of the element gallium was discovered later and replaced eka aluminium are listed as follows. So here you can see eka aluminium, it was considered as 68 atomic mass, and gallium, which was found later, that is placed in the block of eka aluminium, had atomic mass 69.7. The formula that Mendeleev predicted for eka aluminium was E2O3, and that was similar to gallium, Ga2O3. Also, with the reaction of chlorine, ECl3, he found that GaCl3 was for gallium. These provided convincing evidence for both correctness and usefulness of Mendeleev periodic table. Further, it was extraordinary success of Mendeleev prediction that led the chemist not only to accept his periodic table but also recognize him as the originator of the concept on which it is based. Noble gas like helium, neon, argon that have been mentioned in a context before this. The gases were discovered very late because they were very inert and present in extremely low concentration in our atmosphere. One of the strengths of Mendeleev periodic table was that when these gases were discovered, they could be placed in a new group without disturbing the existing order. Now, though Mendeleev's periodic table was on the forefront of every periodic table, but it still had limitations. Now, what were these limitations? The limitations can be found out over here. The electronic configuration of hydrogen resembles that of alkali metal. Like alkali metals, hydrogen combined with halogens, oxygen and sulfur to form compound having similar formula. On the other hand, just like halogen, hydrogen also exists as diatomic molecule and it combines with metals and non-metal to form covalent bond. So certainly, no fixed position can be given to hydrogen in the periodic table. This was the first limitation of Mendeleev periodic table. So he could not assign a correct position to hydrogen in this table. Also, when isotopes were discovered, long after Mendeleev had proposed his periodic classification of elements, scientists faced little difficulty to arrange the elements according to Mendeleev periodic table, as the isotopes had the similar chemical properties, but they had different atomic masses. So these were the two limitations that Mendeleev periodic table had to face. There was still one more limitation to Mendeleev periodic table. Another problem was the atomic mass did not increase in a regular manner in going from one element to the next. So it was not possible to predict how many elements could be discovered between the two elements, especially when we consider about the heavier element. Thus, the main problem faced by the scientist was about the arrangement according to the atomic masses. These atomic masses made the Mendeleev periodic table a little unpredictable about how many new elements could be found between the two different elements because their atomic mass differed a lot. Thank you.